Hey guys, it's Jen from JCats Creations, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made a flower wreath from Dollar Tree supplies. In my video where I had made a Halloween flower, and it was the first video that I introduced using the styrofoam disc as the wreath frame, I had asked in that video if you guys would be interested in seeing me make a different kind of a flower using all of Dollar Tree materials. So here I am to show you that. This is going to be a pretty quick video. Everything's pretty repetitive, so I'm just going to show you how I did it, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. So to start off with, the things you're going to need for this video are once again, one of the styrofoam circles from Dollar Tree. They do come in a pack of 2 for $1. You're only going to need 1 for this project. And then I ended up using 2 rolls of the Dollar Tree mesh. And I just want to let you guys know, when I went the other day, my selection was not huge of what I could get, so I just kind of ended up making what I could with what I had, kind of a situation. So there was a lot of stuff that was sold out, like no fall mesh, no, you know, the ribbon, there was like 1 or 2 rolls, like there really wasn't a whole lot. So I kind of ended up having to do another Halloween theme, since it was all that I could get. This sparkle mesh, it's got the spiderweb pattern on it. This was in silver. I didn't even know until after I got home and looked online. There's like 4 different colors of this. All I had to choose from was just the silver, so it's what I got, but it's really pretty. And I did end up using two packages of the Deco mesh tubing. I'm going to be using almost all of it. You'll have a little bit left of each after you're done. Then you will need some plastic canvas. If you're not sure what this is, I will have a link down below that'll show you on Amazon. You could buy this in any craft store, Walmart, places like that, but I'll just put a link down there in case it's something that you've never seen. And let's see. Oh, and I did end up using, I got a little package of, they had a little six pack of glittery spiders. I did end up using a couple of those. Scissors, some type of measuring tape or ruler, black marker. I use a rotary cutter and a mat to cut the mesh. And then you will need a piece of felt if you want to cover the back after you're done. What I use to cut that piece is a 2.5 by 25 yard roll of ribbon. Actually, it's a good size. It's 5.5 inches wide, and it's a good size of something to trace out so I can make a circle to cover the back. And okay, we can get started here. Now I've already got a lot of stuff prepped and ready to go. Let me just get my things out of the way. Okay, so what I did with the styrofoam disc is the same thing I did in the last video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link to it. And all I did was measure about 1 inch apart going around, and you end up with 14 marks going around the styrofoam disc. What's different from this video from the last one I used floral pins directly into the styrofoam. For this one we will be using some floral pins, but I decided to kind of make the process a little bit easier because we're going to be making little bundles, and I figured it would just be easier to attach them to a plastic grid and then attach that to the styrofoam circle. So once you've got your 14 marks, we're going to start here. I ended up using the Deco mesh tubing for kind of loops on the outside as kind of like leaves. Like I said, purple was really the only color that I could get in more than like 1 or 2 rolls, and I didn't really want to make the whole thing purple. As far as the Deco mesh tubing, these were the only 2 colors I could get, the lime green and the black, so it's just kind of what I went with. Now for this, you will need 14 pieces of each color cut 28 inches. So like I said, you're going to use, you know, pretty much almost the whole bag of each one. So I do have this cut 28 inches. So what I do is I line up the sides and then stretch out, not stretch, but just normal. And then where my finger is down here, that's my halfway point. I bring it together and then turn it so it's like that. And that's pretty much how I figure out how to get pretty even loops. So then what I'm going to do is take a zip tie. You could use a pipe cleaner, a zip tie, whatever you have on hand. Tight. And then when you do that, just have this part that you clipped facing up, because it's going to be a little bit easier to attach it that way. So you have your little loopies. Then you will need some floral pins for this project. We're just going to be using them to attach the loops on the outside of that. So I have a glue skillet that I got last time that I really like. This time around, since it's pretty quick, I'm just going to be using my glue gun. So it is just a little more labor intensive, you know, time consuming trying to perfectly get your glue on the pins, but you know, it works. You can get it done. So then where my marks are, I'm going to line up like that. This is just my guides of where I'm going to be putting it. I take the pin and I go down right next to the head of the zip tie and push it down. Just like that. So that's over that. And then to secure it a little bit more, because the tubing can be a little slidey, I just take the hot glue and I put some over the top of it and just kind of make sure that you get a little bit of the tubing there on the glue, and that'll keep it secure. They won't go anywhere. So for that part of it, that's all you're going to do, or just make these loops and attach them all the way around the styrofoam circle. So that's it for this part of it right now. You finish that up, and then you're going to take the plastic grid. All I did with this, I just measured out the circle, cut it out, and then for this center circle, as you see, mine isn't even that perfect. It's a little off. It's just more of a guide than anything. I have a roll of ribbon that's 4 inches wide, and I just use that as a guide for a circle. So you're going to need that from now on. The little bundles that we're going to make, I actually really liked the tulle, the sparkle mesh, you know, whatever you want to call it. So I wanted to find a way to work this in. Now with this, like, you could replace it with ribbon, or you could use different colors of mesh, whatever you want to do. Like I said, I was pretty limited in what I had, so you know, this is pretty much what I came up with. With the way the roll is, you see kind of, it's sparkly, but you don't realize how sparkly it is until you unroll it. So I thought that was really pretty, and I wanted to be able to use that. And I do use just like a little chip clip. I'm not very good at holding pieces of mesh in my fingers when I'm done, so I just use a little chip clip to help me out. So you're going to be cutting the sparkle mesh into, what did I do, 6-inch pieces. So these will be, it's 6 inches by 3 yards, so you're going to be cutting them into 6-inch pieces. And I only used, like I said, it wasn't even a full roll of this that I used. And with the Deco mesh, I cut this 8 inches. So these are 8-inch pieces. And we're going to be making 13 bundles is what I used. So you'll be needing 26 of the Deco mesh, and you'll be needing 13 pieces of the tulle. So all I did was make it like a diamond, and then I scrunch it up. This is all basically like the ruffle method is what I kind of came up with. So it kind of makes like a little petal. And that's where I use the clip, because tulle doesn't really want to stay together without some help. And then with the Deco mesh, now because this is thin and it frays a lot more, this was my first time working with it. Pretty much all the things I had heard about it, I do agree with to be true. It is very thin. It does like to fray, and obviously you don't get a whole lot on a roll. But yes, it is only $1, so you know, that's kind of the give on that. So even when I use the 10-inch Deco mesh for the ruffle method, I always fold under like that, and then I do my scrunch, and then kind of the other side, I always twist that under too. And I found that does kind of help keep any of the fraying more on the inside of the ruffle. You're still going to have a little bit, no matter what kind of mesh you use, you're going to have a little bit. This is probably a little bit worse, but I find that curling those edges under really help with the fray not being as prominent. So this one I'm just going to hold in between my fingers. This is pretty much the most I can do with holding things between my fingers. So then you're going to take your second piece, do the same thing. Just get your little fold there under like that. And like I said, I just kind of twist them under, kind of stick it all inside so it's not really sticking out all over the place. So then I take the one from my finger, put that down. It's the one I just made. Do a little crisscross with that. And then the tulle, I take that and I put my bundle over it while I'm unclipping, so I can kind of grab that at the same time. So then you just kind of have a little bundle like that, where the tulle is coming out on the sides. And you're going to need some pipe cleaners for this. I already had some on hand, but I saw that the Dollar Tree had plenty. You know, they have like the tinsel sparkly ones, or they just have regular ones. And I just cut them in half. I don't need the whole thing. Okay. So then I go over from the top of it. And get your finger out of the way. Just make sure you catch it all in there. That's about hit or miss for me. Half the time I get it all, half the time I don't. Yep. I'm not very good at the little bundles. I never have been. I've been doing this almost 4 years, and this is just something I have never been good at. Okay, so get it all in there and kind of tighten it up and give it a few good twists. And kind of straighten out, do what you have to do at this point. That's all. I just kind of tuck all the little edges in, as I said, and you know, it really helps. I mean, at the end I just go, and any frays that are sticking out, I trim them. I do that with any wreath I make. So you just have like these little bundles. Like I said, I made 13 of these. So on this, I will be putting, I did 12 around the circle and then just one in the middle. I did about halfway and then did the one in the middle instead of trying to fight the one in the middle after, you know, I had them all on, it was a little bit easier to do it that way. So I'm just using this as a guide. So I'm just going to push through the pipe cleaners and go around to the back and then twist it. And then I cut all the little ends off. You don't need it that long. I left them pretty short. And that's all I did. So pretty much it's just making these loops and adding them all the way around, and then making your bundles and adding them all the way around this. And then once I had all of this done, I took it, and now I'm showing you separately because once everything got together, it was just pretty much impossible to actually show what I did. So I just took this and I took hot glue. I did about half of it, and I pretty much had just kind of stuck my fingers down through the whole thing, held it there just to make sure that it was even. And then I just went in with a few floral pins, you know, kind of down through the center, got in there, stuck them all in there. I put a little hot glue on the ends of those before I stuck them in. And that was it for attaching it. This whole thing is incredibly lightweight, you know, so I felt that that was pretty secure with getting it all attached to itself. So that's that. So then I just have one that I finished, which I'll show you. I'll put it up on the wall like I do normally with everything, but just kind of a close-up on it. So as you can see, all I did was just go around the edge with all of the tubing. And this is where, you know, once you're done, you would just take that felt circle and glue it to the back. So if you did have like any of the pins come through a little bit, you're just going to cover that up and make it look a lot better. And then, yeah, so basically, you know, it was just kind of a curly ruffle all the way around. It all filled in really nicely, I thought. As I said, I did end up using a couple of the spiders. I just hot glued them on there, you know, where their little legs touch the mesh. I just hit that with some hot glue and stuck them there. Like I said, oh, it's all very lightweight. The whole wreath itself, you know, everything I'm using, so it's fine. And then you do have all these little bits of the tulle sticking through. So I just kind of went through and fluffed all of these up to kind of make them a little more prominent. Since I had the spider web design, that's why I used some of the spiders. And the only thing I used extra that I didn't get from the Dollar Tree, I had some like sparkle ball picks. They look like that. This one I had chopped down to get the colors I wanted off of it, but they look like this. So I'm sure probably a lot of the craft stores, I got this from one of the online stores, but I'm sure local places probably carry something like these as well. And I just cut off the colors that I wanted. And I made a few little clusters to go around just to kind of dress it up a little bit. And that was it. So I'm just going to hang it on the wall so you guys can see what it looks like. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So that is what it looks like all done. Like I said, you know, I only had the purple mesh to work with, so that's why I came up with using the Deco mesh tubing as kind of leaves on the outside to go around. But that's pretty much the gist of it. It was pretty simple and easy to make. Just kind of close up a little bit for you. And that's the side of it. I didn't measure it, but I think this should still fit in between two screen, you know, like a door and a screen door, because it's still not very deep. And as far as width, it was like 16, 17 inches in diameter. So, you know, it's not huge, but it's not teeny tiny either. So that's what I came up with. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.